Mark Epstein here, and welcome to the online web mapping course. And this is for the preface, and this is going to be the first video for each of the lessons as an instructor's manual to help you in some tips to working with your students and some of the technical things. So today I am here speaking to you from Rudder Middle School in Sacramento, California, which has basically been our flagship for our middle school program. And what I want to do is talk today about just some of the basic technical stuff of getting this course started and working with your students. Is that this course, as you can see, we use as the online instruction, Edmodo as our platform. So I want to talk a couple things about the Edmodo accounts. So if you haven't used Edmodo previous or an account, one of the things you want to do is at your school is to go to the website edmodo.com and create a teacher account. Now, one of the things you're going to want to look for when you're signing on is that does it run directly off the edmodo.com website, or does it take you to a subdomain which is linked to your district server? If it just works off of the edmodo.com, it's going to be very simple to sign up your students using the group code that I give you for our group. But if you've got a subdomain, you're probably going to have some glitches as far as being able to get your students signed on, because then your school district has made the decision of having a closed system. So what we have found as far as being able to deal with that is what you're going to want to do is make an Edmodo group for your class from a school site computer, and have the students, when they sign on and create their Edmodo accounts, to use the group code for the account that you create. What this does is basically gets their initial account as part of the school server, and that means they don't get caught up in other codes and stuff. So once you get that done, then what you're going to do is you're going to provide the students with the code for the group that I create for the web mapping mini course, and you're going to press a plus button to add a group, and from there they should be able to easily add membership into that group. So that takes care of that problem of having students sign up, being part of having their account established with a group that is outside of the school server domain. The second issue that you're going to have is with closed domain is if you're using Google and Google Docs and Google Classroom. And again, most districts, if they're setting the kids for a sign up through a district account, particularly if you're using Chromebooks, then you're going to have some difficulty with students submitting documents through the share. Is the way that this has been set up from our experience is that if a student does a document, creates it as a Google Doc, sets all the things to share, it doesn't allow them to share a document with an individual that's coming in and trying to access it from outside of the school server system. So those are a couple glitches that you're going to need to take a look at, and what kind of system your district has established for your internet access. The next issue in getting started is dealing with passwords. And depending on what grade level you are, is kids remembering and writing down passwords. Middle school students, we found, are notoriously terrible at remembering their passwords, and at least with the Edmodo sign up, we spend a lot of time just resetting their passwords because they forgot their password, they forgot their username. And again, when you create your Edmodo account, then you're going to join our group, and then I'm going to set your authorization as a co-teacher. So that co-teacher designation enables you to access a number of things. The one in dealing with passwords, and then you can access the membership list. You can give them their username, and on the side menu you can click to reset their password. So basically, typically what I do when I'm in a class or other teachers is they come up and say, I forgot my password, look up in the membership, click on their name and set and reset password, have them type in a new password, and then hit the reset. So that's something that you'll be able to do. Also, as a co-teacher, you'll have access to as I grade things in the grade sheet, through the progress button. So you'll be able to see what's been turned in, what I have scored. Now, one thing you may want to keep an eye on there is when students turn in things, is that if it sits there and if I've started grading and you get grades and then you still have a number of students that's just saying turned and haven't been graded, that most likely means that something was wrong in the assignment, and you've got to get the student to look at what are the notes to correct their errors. So that's another thing to look for, and you'll have access as a co-teacher. As far as on doing assignment, the first exercises are basically doing a Word document. Now, I make up the assignments as a Word document, and they can download that, they can put their answers, and then return that in. As a matter of fact, on the assignments that are turned in, I prefer them to be in the Microsoft Word format. PDF is okay. A lot of teachers like having the PDF format when they turn in because they can access the PDF easily on their smartphones. Now, if you are using Google and Google Docs, one of the things that I have found is that you could upload the document. Now, if you're using Chromebooks, that's a real easy thing. Is you can download it, put it in Google Docs, then and then they could change the format from the Word format to a Google Docs format, make all their changes in Google Docs, which will be saved, and then when they're finished and ready to submit it, then they can download it either as the Microsoft Word or a PDF file and do the turn-in. And again, one of the things you may want to go over with your students is the turn-in buttons, the difference between a document and a link button, because the first set of assignments will be turning in a document, but once we start getting into the actual maps, then they'll be turning in links, and they'll basically submit as far as the web link to their online map. So again, that's something you want to look into do. Now, the first assignment we ask them to do, as far as, and if you use the introduction video, is a autobiographical statement. And this has two purposes. The first purpose is to have them do a run-through of submitting a document and just using that Edmodo interface and getting comfortable with it, along if they use Google Docs or Google Chromebook, whatever, as it's to give them a comfort level and working out the bugs at that stage. The second purpose is for me to learn something about your students and enable me to respond to something that I identify for as that relationship. One of the difficulties with virtual education and online courses is the lack of a sense of a relationship or community with that instructor, that all you do is see them or hear them on a video and via email. So this gives me a chance to have a little bit of knowledge about your students and their background that I can reference to as I'm seeing what they're doing and to identify and have a little bit of a relationship. So I hope these things help. Again, as far as, most of you, I'm probably communicating with email. You've also, once you get onto Edmodo, you've also got the direct messaging into Edmodo. So I look forward to working with you and providing the instruction to your students.